Hi, my name's Ella. I'm our sales manager at BUNAC, and today we're going to be holding an interview with Chris from World Unite, who runs our Japan program. We're very excited that the working holiday visa has reopened after all of this COVID, but there is lots of questions. So we want to clarify just some key points today with Chris. So hi, Chris, how are we?
Hello, fine, thank you.
Nice to see you today. So we're just going to jump straight in with the questions. I think the main question a lot of people have is, we know there's been some changes to the working holiday visa application, and we just want you to summarize these changes for us today.
The big change basically is that now, besides all the other documents that have to be handed in addition, a written pledge is required. Yeah, so that written pledge needs to come from a Japanese company that basically confirms in that document to take responsibility that the participants, while they are in Japan, follow the COVID-19 safety regulations imposed by the Japanese government. So this can come from an employer directly employing the person who is on a working holiday visa. It can come from a working holiday agency such as ours, registered in Japan, or also from language schools. The main points mentioned in that written pledge are basically that participants after their arrival have to do 14 days of quarantine. So these are actually 15 nights, because the 14 days count from the day following the day after they arrive. For the 14th day when they arrive, yeah.
Yeah.
About the actual location where that quarantine can be done, there is somehow confusion because it's not clearly stated on the pledge paper itself. Yeah, but we are in daily communication with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, and they tell us basically that people doing the quarantine cannot leave the room. Yeah, they have to stay in the room. Yeah, and they know us now, and basically the agreement we have, and which is also the kind of necessity to get the visa issued, is they stay at a hotel which is near our office. Yeah, so that is a hotel that's relatively affordable, and we also go there a couple of times per week to bring them supermarket groceries. Yeah, so that makes it more affordable.
They don't have any reason to leave at all.
Exactly, that's the reason. And then while they are on quarantine, they have to take a picture of a fever thermometer showing their body temperature. Every day they submit that to us, and basically we have to check it. And if the temperature is above 37.5 degrees, we have to inform the authorities. And they tell us then what to do. So from the people we have here at the moment doing the quarantine, that has happened to one participant actually, who has increased temperature, and Nozomi from our team here basically is now at the hospital with him, because he also has some other symptoms which could be corona related. So they're doing the test now again at the hospital. So that was a requirement basically from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that we are at 24 hours basically reach to the participants on quarantine, and then we can support them in the way, in whatever situation that might arise.
Yeah, so you guys have got the full support for once they arrive, the pledge letter, the accommodation, the food, and if the temperature does go wrong, the support of what they need to do after that. So they don't need to worry when they're over there. They have you guys going through the correct procedure with them, which is great. The second question
is that the transfer from the airport to the hotel, that cannot be using public transport or taxis or any shared form of transportation, but it has to be an individual, not shared car. So that is also something that we inform our participants where to book it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So they're aware of who to book through.
Just quickly summarizing another point, like there is the tracing app of the Japanese government. They need to install that. That's also written in the written pledge. And they have to install also Line. Yeah, that is also a communications app similar to WhatsApp, because they need to be they should be contacted by the health authorities of Japan. They could be contacted at any time asking questions about their health. Okay. And these questions are in Japanese. Yeah, so that's also something like, if they get a message, we would assist them translating them to English.
Okay, so it sounds very much like the track and trace here in the UK. We have like an app on our phone, it does the same, but in Japanese.
Yeah. What is also important to mention is that the pledge does not only talk about the initial 14 or 15 days of quarantine, but we take responsibility for their entire stay in Japan. Yeah? So if there are any upcoming corona regulations by the Japanese governments, also we are responsible that participants follow that. So we ask them basically also to sign an agreement for us, confirming that they will do it when they're actually in Japan. Yeah, so it is something they should definitely take seriously while they're in Japan.
Okay, great. And they have to check in with you across their 12 months in Japan around any changes with COVID while they're there. Is that what that agreement states?
Yeah, we have to be in touch with them. Basically, everything we need to know related to COVID and the status of what they're doing to make sure there are no problems.
Okay. Yeah. We'll move on to the second question. Is there any additional COVID restrictions that, like, before they arrive in Japan, before that pledge letter?
Yeah, there is one point, sorry, I want to also mention, which is quite important related to the pledge, is we need to state urgent reason why that participant has to come to Japan now. Yeah, so that urgent reason why the participant has to come to Japan has to be a benefit for Japan. Yeah, so for instance, it could be a certain industry sector, such as agriculture, is in need of workers. Yeah, that would be a good reason.
Okay.
Or a certain employer needs employees and doesn't easily find them in Japan, or there is a benefit to society as a whole. So what we need to do is we need to kind of speak with the participants, analyze their letter of motivation, their travel plan, and then find a good reason right on the pledge.
Okay.
But also this might mean that the participant might have to change the actual plan of activities in Japan so that they fit to what is expected in order to get the visa issued.
Yeah, they have to have a main motive to travel.
Yeah. So it should still be, when they fill the travel plan, a mix of activities. Yeah, the purpose of the visa didn't change. It is cultural exchange visa, so it should be a combination of work, travel, and cultural activities related to Japan. If someone says, I just want to travel around Japan, that's not possible really to get into Japan now. Yeah, it must be the combination of these three things. Then you have the additional COVID-19 safety measures. So before coming to Japan, yeah, they have to do the corona test 72 hours before their first flight departs from back home. That's any type of professionally conducted COVID-19 test. And there is also a form supplied by the Japanese authorities that could be filled to confirm this, but it could also be another format issued by the testing facility.
Okay, great. And do they have to do another one when they arrive in Japan? Sorry.
At the airport, there is another one.
Okay.
Sit at the airport then for 1 to 3 hours to get the test result. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, there's a lot to remember, but it's great that they're all in order. It's clear, it's very simple that what checks they need to do before they get there and once they're in country. But what is Japan like at the moment? Is there lockdown restrictions? Is it open?
Life in Japan is relatively normal. Yeah, the shops, everything is open. There are a few shops that have earlier closing hours than before that whole pandemic situation. The only thing is that basically everyone is wearing the mask at all time in public, yeah, outdoors or in any indoor facilities. But that is also not so unusual. And people in Japan have been doing that always during the winter season and infection from any type of flu, etc.
So it's not like strange over there. Everyone's got masks on as normal, but retail's open, hospitality's open.
Everything is open.
Normal life.
Exactly.
It's not like the tears here in London.
And it has basically always been like that. There has never been any strict lockdown in Japan. Yeah, there were recommendations by the government in April, May, June, and some things were a bit restricted, but that was on a voluntary base by the respective shop owners, etc. So there was no massive impact whatsoever in Japan.
Oh wow, that's great. So as there wasn't a massive impact on a lockdown, what type of jobs are people getting on arrival now, and what kind of support are you guys giving these customers when they arrive in Tokyo around work and living?
So also the type of jobs actually are almost the same as before the pandemic. There is what is more difficult now are tourism jobs. Yeah, also ski resort jobs not really possible because the regular tourist visa is not issued at the moment. So there are no foreign tourists coming to Japan. So that's why these jobs are not available for foreigners. Also, the teaching English jobs might be more difficult to get at the moment because many language schools have changed to online lessons and have their English teachers providing these online lessons from outside of Japan. Yeah, they don't have to be physically in Japan to do that. But otherwise, it's almost the same, I would say, compared to before the pandemic.
Okay, great. And a World Unite after the quarantine phase, just the support the same?
Exactly, it's the same. So they do the quarantine. After that, they can come to our office, which is just 3 minutes to walk from the quarantine hotel. And then they get the same support as they have always been getting from us.
Oh, great. And that's always been fantastic. So we've always had good feedback for that. So I think that's all of our main questions really today, Chris. Thank you so much for giving us the detail on what Japan looks like right now. And hopefully if anybody's got any other questions, they can get in contact with us and we can make sure it's a smooth trip to get them back over to Japan for 2021.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Welcoming you in Japan.
Yeah, looking forward to